So how is everybody doing today?
Good. Do well.
Yeah. So we are working on a couple housekeeping items to start out with. Number one, we are actively working on finding a different retreat location with a more favorable flight schedule. And we were going to encourage you to invite your spouses or your significant others, where we're thinking of is like the first, obviously we'll have our welcome reception and drinks, and Dave and I are working on making this kind of different, where the first half of the day is a kind of a unique experience. And the second half of the day is tying it together in your business and having really unique business panels where you guys can kind of walk away with the best of everything. And the second night, if you do bring your spouses or whatever, we'll have a dinner where everyone could bring their significant other, because you do realize that traveling out of the country is like a big lift for you, and you might as well make a trip out. And Denny Bowers, your message never showed up on my phone. So I'm going to call you when this call is finished.
Oh, you did? It didn't?
No.
Okay, no worries.
I'll call you when this call's done. So a couple things. Gretchen will be getting on here shortly. But one of the things I wanted to take time with today is we're in the middle of summer months and everything else is how you guys can get the most out of what we have, right? And I think many of you have seen all of our stuff on end to end, right? Most of you.
I have a call with your team today to review it.
Yeah, so I'm going to review this with all of you today, and all of you guys all have access to it as long as you're a Mastermind member. Some people have decided to buy lifetime offerings because they don't know if they're going to be in this group forever. But the point of the conversation today is to show you what this is. And the best part about this is everything is done for you, and it's simply plug and play the parts that you want the most. So now you could start bringing your team members to training sessions that we could train your teams for you. Gretchen's team actively worked with our team, and there's an entire section on there on how to delegate parts out of this and what parts to delegate to an assistant. So I wanted to go through that. I wanted to go through our platform, and I want to make sure that all of your agents are enrolled in Playbook. We're going to be releasing dates for business planning sessions, role-playing sessions. And look, in this world that we're getting into, how many people are a little bugged out about the whole buyer's agent's compensation thing? You good on it, Tanya?
Yeah, no, I mean, not ideal.
Actually, it is very ideal. You want me to tell you why? The people like you are all the people that are going to win. And I'll tell you why.
That's true. That's true.
Most people cannot quantify what they do if their life depended on it. And our role as a company is to give you all of this stuff. And so I'm going to highlight on a few things I think all of you should start doing, some things that you should stop doing, some things you should do more of, some things you should do less of. So we have a pretty action-packed agenda for the day today. So first and foremost is, do all of you have your team members enrolled in Playbook? Tanya?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kansas? Tim?
Yep.
Are you guys in? I see you guys. Evan? Butch? Butch is driving. Alex?
I gotta do it. Sorry, I screwed up.
Gretchen, Carrie, David. So make sure all of them are enrolled. Now, here's the other thing too. Let me show you guys this. So all of you have unlimited access to our platform. So what we've seen a lot of people do is have their admins go in here, pull trainings, put things together. But if you just type in something simple like buyers here, there are hundreds of videos here. So if you go to page 3, why people hire realtors, rising interest rates, what to talk about buyers, part 1, part 2, a video script, what to talk about, winning multiple offer situations, how to get buyers to accept the market. There's so many resources that you guys have, and I encourage you to lean into this and go figure out what skills your team needs. What do I think makes Ben Glazer a great agent? Is Ben's really good at talking to people. And, a few weeks ago, after I left San Francisco, I got an incredible opportunity with a friend to meet a guy by the name of Marshall Silver, who I think is the greatest sales and influence coach that's ever existed. He's worked with Tony Robbins and every A-level personal development coach in the world. And he's done over $600 million in career sales. So he invited me to his house in San Diego, and I got to spend an afternoon with him. And he's been training realtors for multiple decades. And he said something that was really interesting that I was excited to share with you. He goes, you know, the number one challenge that real estate agents have? And I was like, whew, this should be good. He goes, they're in denial that they're salespeople. So what you do is sales. If you only get paid when you sell something, you're a salesperson. There's no ifs, ands, and buts. I'm gonna have Gretchen talk about this when I'm finished. But the second part is what you do and how you do it are two interdependent things. How you do your job can be as a consultant and or an advisor, but what you do is sales. And the essence of sales is knowing how to talk to people. And if you look at what's going on in this industry and the shifts that are happening, it is going to squeeze commissions. And it's like any luxury product. You can buy the same bag at Kohl's or at Canal Street as you can in Louis Vuitton. But you pay for things that you value, and where all of your price points are, your clients have all of these nice things. So they understand paying for something of value. Where your commissions get cut or where they try to negotiate your commissions is when people don't understand what they're getting for the money paid. And Gretchen has invested, I think, close to $100,000 with us. And when I met Gretchen, she's like, I need to put you in my pocket and I need to walk like you. I need to talk like you. I need to sound like you. And her team has gone on this crazy quest, I would say, over the last 6 months in really developing their sales skills and like this actual process. So Gretchen, do you want to just talk about that a little bit and the importance and what the change you've seen is for your business?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I hope y'all are all doing well. Of course, today is the day I chose to work from home. So if you hear my dogs,
You got cool glasses, so it doesn't matter.
yeah, well, I can't see anything now. So I'm older by the minute. So I wanted to say, number one, just on Chirag's point, we have really been on a trajectory of growth. I've been in the business for 23 years. So understanding that contracting markets are the most important opportunities for us as agents. When I started working with Chirag, I didn't really want myself to be trained. I wanted him to come in and coach my team because it's kind of like they hear my voice all the time and I'm like the mother and nobody listens to the mother anymore. But when Chirag comes in and talks with them, when we watch the playbook together as a team, our skill sets have improved so much from an employee standpoint and from an agent standpoint. Everybody understands who it is that they're serving, who it is that they're working for, and they have the right words. They have the right phrases. They really understand how to shift a conversation and navigate. And where, we used to have people who would take a listing for 5%. We used to have agents who would do that, and we don't have that on the team anymore. Now, I'm not going to say ever, like it happens once in a while, but we're really holding commissions high, and we're also able to get our buyers to pay us if the commission being offered is lower than what our buyer agent agreement says, because of how we've shifted our conversations and how we've teed up what the experience is going to look like.
Now, the other part I wanted to add to this was, and I want everyone to really hear this, how much time have you as a super successful person in sales spent on learning the same process?
Can you ask that again? My dogs are going crazy.
That's okay. How much time have you, a lot of times people feel, and someone asked me at the end of San Francisco, we had this panel like literally by accident that was like, we had Nicole, who's the number one agent in her market. Lori Abbey was the number one agent in her market. And then we had John Zimmerman, who's the number one agent in his market, and Butch, who's number one in my heart all the way through and through. And they go, what's the difference between these people and everyone else? They go, simple. They believe that there's a constant evolution for improvement of themselves. Even Ben, who's like and I keep going back to him because I remember telling him that, Ben, you can't pitch, dude. There's better things you could do. He looked at me like he wanted to rip my head off because that's his brand. Like he's known as a guy that closes deals and does high-end pitches. And he's even taken stuff out of this, right? So how much time have you spent in adapting to this system with your team?
You're
You're muted. Hold on.
On hours and hours and hours. I did the entire playbook last session. 20 sessions with my entire team at 9:30 in the morning every Monday and Tuesday. So that plus just all the role plays, everything that we do in our team. I've watched every video twice. I've met with Chirag once a week since August or September of last year. And I've had him in my office 3 times. So we spend a ton amount of time really dialing in our voice and what our message is.
So now the reason I share this with all of us is there is, in my mind, the most lucrative opportunity that you can ever humanly have in this business right now. And are you seeing the same thing, Gretchen?
Oh my God, yes. We have doubled our sales monthly. Our business grew 30% last year, and it's on a trajectory to grow between 30 and 40% this year. And that is in a market where we are very low inventory. We are crushing it with listings. I mean, crushing it. To a point that I'm like, I need some more buyers in this pipeline because the cash flow changes a little bit when you're heavy listings versus heavy buyers. But we've gone from doing 12 to 14 houses a month to doing 30 to 35 houses a month. And our price points have increased pretty dramatically. So what we're finding is that, all of the components together, including the experiences that people are having with every member of our team, is really generating a lot of business.
Thank you. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Mhm.
And I'm managing my own Zoom. Then I'm going to spotlight you for a second. Share your $200,000 1-minute story.
Yeah, I mean, we had for the New York agents that are here, we had a deal down at 100 Barclay where we were negotiating on a beeline. There's only one left in the building, and the apartment a floor above just sold for a really high price after this apartment was on the market for probably 4 or 5 months. And the buyer was freaking out that they had to pay a big number for the unit where they knew they could have got it for a lot less recently with everything that was going on. And they were getting very upset with the negotiations with the developer. And I told them, I'm like, listen, at the end of the day, there's things that we can control. There's things that we can't control. We can't control what someone else is willing to pay for 13B, but we can control how we're willing to negotiate and what we're willing to do. And the end goal is finding a home for your family. So let's take a step back for a second and put a plan in place that we can work on together and figure it out. They took a deep breath. They were like, you know what? You're right. Let's do this. And it completely took all the stress out of the air. And we did it. We got the deal done. And it was a $5 million sale at a 4% commission. It was great.
This stuff works like magic. And the nice part is we have such a large community of both top agents like yourselves in your marketplace and thousands of other people that we see, we hear feedback, and we're literally just sharing with you what works. I was on a webinar with Robert and I asked him, I go, if you're an agent, would you invest in this program or figure it out on your own? He's like, oh my God. And I could send you guys a recording. He's like, this hits an emotional trigger. He goes, I don't know why anyone would ever figure it out on their own. I've had mentors since I was a kid. Someone else has already figured it out. So why do I need to spend the time doing it? I just need to connect with the right people and do it. So all of these things are just literally built for you, and take all of it, take some of it, but use it with your team members, reinforce your value proposition. And I say this to people all the time. And I'll use Gretchen as an example again here. She literally told her entire team one day, if you don't plan on coming to coaching Monday and Tuesday live in the office, the door's there, you can leave. People that are self-employed contractors that don't want personal development scare me. I think they're bad culture fits. I think that they think if someone, I would say to my son, who seems to have an answer for everything, are you the smartest person in the room? He goes, why, Dad? I go, because you can answer all your own questions. If you all are spending time and money on this, it behooves me if team members don't. That's a culture that you're creating. And if you can learn anything from Gretchen's team, her culture's improved, their productivity's improved, their relationships improved, their client experience improved, because they all do it together. It's a commitment. So if you guys are all here, there's a reason you're here, because you're committed to growth. And I would say there are 2 desires. There's your desire for your desires and your desire to your commitments, and you can only pick one of them to live. So when your desires to your commitments are there, regardless of what you have to do, you get it done. But if your desires are just for your desires, you're always going to get more of the same. As Jim Rohn says, for things to change for you, you have to change. He's like, the beautiful thing in life is you can always have more than you've got because you can always be more than you are. But on the flip side of the coin, if you don't change who you are, you'll always have what you got. Now think about that. So as this year goes through, we'll be putting this calendar together. Probably, I'm going to try to do it before I go away on Friday. Now, we have 6 bonus live role-playing sessions. All of you should attend and your team should attend. We have 2 90-minute business planning sessions that we'll do in the end of October, November, because I want people to start living their next year this year. All of you should all attend and get them on your calendar. All of you should get your team enrolled in our playbook sessions, and I encourage you to do them with their team. Kansas and our partner Michelle are on every morning at 6:30 Pacific. They're there every day, right? And it's just one small thing. Tony Robbins calls it the 1 millimeter rule. When you get to a place of success, it's those small little shifts. Franklin and Lana implemented all of the structural things that we talked about and spend a lot of time doing. And now they have the right people, the right team. And, look, beating out Aaron Kruger's machine in Tennessee is no easy feat. And if you know Aaron, it's literally a machine. So when they got the #1 team in their office, I could not have been more proud of them. It was as proud as if my kids accomplished something. I was like, yeah, it's like a real victory. But when you put in the work, it's the discipline to do the things that you know you need to do, the consistency doing them regardless of how you feel, and the patience to know as you do them over time that they're all going to work out. So let me share with you what this end-to-end is. And then I want to spend some time talking about how to position yourself to win the cash cow of money that's going to become available as every single MLS just drops like dominoes and not offering out buyer's agents compensation. The thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I spent 1 year of the board of directors on my MLS, 4 years on the executive committee, 2 as treasurer, and 2 as vice president. I know an obscene amount of information about NAR, MLS, the policies, the procedures, the code of ethics, and everything else. I've talked to all my friends in the industry who build MLSs and are MLS CEOs and presidents. So we have a ton of information to share. And the nice part is, we'll have bonus webinars starting in the fall on how to position yourself with this, and we'll get you the whole calendar for you and your team. All the training that you humanly need to get ahead of this, we've already made. Because like an anarchist talking about the world's going to end, building out the bunker, the lights, the food, the system, and everything. I've been talking about this shit for like 2 years. And now it's all come true. So all the training lives in our platform. We just have to organize it and give it back to all of you. So let me show you what end-to-end is. And here's another unique opportunity we have. Through our partnership at Compass. Compass essentially is like a partner in our business. All of our business goes through their marketplace, right? And so one of the benefits to that is I've been going to every RVP sales meetings for the sales managers. And by the end of September, I've gone to every single one in the country, and they all love this end-to-end program. Now, here's how it could benefit you. Anyone that would like exposure to thousands of agents in a market can have it. They want, and one of the sales managers sent this to us, they would love commercials, like 60, 90-second videos from top agents sharing how they use this and how it grew their business, and they'll send it out to every single agent in their marketplace. So as you dive into this and you use it and you have a win, reach out to us. We'll help you put something together, but we'll get these videos sent out to your feeder markets. Literally any market in the country, we can get this done in for you. So it's a huge opportunity for us to put a spotlight on who you are, what you do, why your team's great, why you're great, and a way to connect with tons of other people. Ben's screen's off, but in connection with going on these panels, Ben, how many people have you met? Allison, how many people have you met? Gretchen, how many people have you met?
A ton. And after every single one, I get a lot of phone calls asking about the program, and it's been nice.
Well, I've had the benefit of meeting Ben, which I'm going to see you in a couple of weeks in New York City. We're going to do some stuff. But yeah, same as Ben. I mean, we meet people every place that we go. I've already done a referral or 2 out of it. I'm working on a big project with one of the girls in Atlanta. And, it really is, it just shows the strength of the network.
Yeah, we've gotten a couple of referrals out of it from agents that were in the offices.
It works, right? And look, agent to agent referrals, like I think Jess Sigmund's in the other group, 70% of her business comes from Compass referrals. Denny, you have a good chunk of yours coming from agent referrals too, right?
I do. I'm about 20 to 25%.
Allison Goodhart, what percent do you have?
Sorry, can you repeat that? I'm writing up a contract. I know I shouldn't be doing that.
At least you're honest and don't lie. So I appreciate that about you.
It's on
What
a
percent of your
deadline.
business comes from other agents, agent referrals?
How much of our business?
Yeah.
Right now, I think it's at like 15%, which is significantly up from where it was a couple years ago.
Lana, Franklin, what do you guys got? Wait, you got to unmute yourself. Hold on. All right, go ahead.
For us, it's probably 10 to 15%. And I would say it's larger transactions. Like we don't get a lot of little referrals here and there. But it's mostly like really large ones. Like one agent, we did 14 million in referrals with her.
So here's a good thing too. That's incredible. And that's just off of one relationship. So here's one thing that I want you all to do in your business. And these are two numbers that every single person should know in the back of their hand. It's like knowing your budget. There's obviously the source of your business, 10 to 15%, but then the most important metric that should influence every financial decision you make and the way you use your time is what percentage of your GCA comes per source. Right. And when you get these outlier transactions, like that would be an outlier transaction for Lana, one mega house of $14 million. I generally tell the people, cut your outlier transaction by 50 to 60%. So it's more in alignment when you're factoring in your numbers, because that one number could skew the whole pie. So these are things to think about. So we can get you these opportunities. Part of being in this group is you guys are my favorite people. All of you are my friends at this point. So I want to put you in front of all these people. And again, it's free. You guys have access to this stuff in connection with the program. It's going to use it. It's going to grow your business. It's going to grow your team. And what better way to get your brand out there to thousands of agents by showing how you use the tools, how you use the technology, how you pair it with actual sales processes. So when I'm telling you what I'm going to show you, I've been trying to build something like this at Compass for 4.5 years. I remember going to Hawaii and thinking to myself, I'm pretty smart. I could launch a program in a week. I can make a 90-day program in a day. Like I'm like high horse, like in content creation, right? We've made over 700 training videos, 3-4 live events. Like we do this all the time. And so I was like, oh, in February, I was like, I could build end-to-end sellers one way. I could build end-to-end buyers one way. So we're on a flight. It was 15 hours each way. And I'm on the runway. I'm like, get the docs offline, get the docs offline. For some reason, Hawaiian Airlines does not have Wi-Fi. So we got all the docs offline. And I remember coming back and having an all team meeting, and David was there. He's like, they're like, all right, Chirag, what do we have? And literally I had nothing. Like nothing. And everyone's like not used to that, right? 30 hours for me is like an incredible amount of time. And I'm like, guys, we need to start this all over again. And it took us 8 employees, 6 of who work at Compass, including myself and David. It took us 4.5 months. Gretchen's team has helped us build and review this. Many of you have reviewed the content. And look, if you want to review it and you're like, hey, I think this would be helpful, we just add it in. We had over 100 agents put this together. So this is a culmination of a 100-step plus checklist that integrates every tool you use at Compass on the sell side, 9 of them, with every email template, every word to say, client-facing materials. We're finalizing the marketing plans. We'll be able to give you 4 custom marketing plans for under $1 million, 1 to 3 million, 3 to 5 million, 5 million plus, with marketing calendars. You can quantify in your pitch what you do for your clients, and in Google Slides and in Keynote, things that you can put on your iPad. Like that's how detailed this thing is. So let me show it to you. End to end. And we even got Compass. I got sign off from Robert to be able to call this the Compass selling system. So that kind of gives you an idea of how well this all works. So if you look at how this is broken down, if you look at a sales cycle, there is preparing for the pitch. There's like pre-qualifying, before you prepare for the pitch, preparing for the pitch, giving the pitch, after the pitch, a signed agreement, bringing the home to market, launching the home on the market, the open house, ongoing customer service, contract sign, appraisals, inspections, closing time, and keeping clients for life. And when you break this down, we look at it, it's when you see simplified steps next to it, that means here's exactly how you use the tool. No agent wants to sit here and figure out all the specific ways to use a Compass tool. It's really confusing. Copy and paste. All of you generally like the way that I write and I talk and how I simplify these messages. Every single email that you could humanly need to send to a client, we've already written for you, and it's copy paste, and you can edit it or keep it as it is. Talking scripts. Every client objection that you humanly could think of is answered in here. And if you find a new one, you can tell me and I'll make a video and stick it in here the next day. Ready to send. These are all client-facing materials. If you don't have our Compass Tech video that explains how we utilize artificial intelligence or digital ad platform and a proprietary insights report to find them the right buyer for their home, you're missing out. You should be taking the raw file, working with your videographer, making your own intro, your own outro, and sending those to your clients. And easy to delegate. Thanks to Gretchen and her team, we have an entire section on how to delegate these things to your team members, and we can teach it to them. So what does this actually look like and what do you get? These are all of the things that are included. So in pre-qualifying, preparing for the pitch, prior to preparing for the pitch, preparing for the pitch. And we've also highlighted here what it is, whether it's a material, an email template, a marketing plan, a simplified step, a checklist. There are 2 stars next to everything that you can delegate out to your team members. So if you go all the way through here, delivering the pitch, after the listing sign, bringing the home to market, pre-launch, launching the home to market, executing the open house, ongoing client communication, accepted offer, open of escrow, coordinating the inspection, appraisal, closing time, post-closing. There is nothing in here in an end-to-end sales process from initial contact to closing that we didn't think of. And as we think of new things and new tools come, it's like an iOS. If the whole market changes, we'll update the scripts. If a new tool comes and integrates this, we'll integrate it into here. There are new objections that come up, we'll add them in here. This program will continue to update, but the difference is here you come to learn stuff and then you have to do stuff. This, all of it's done for you on the week of August 23rd when it launches. All of this will be in your inbox and it'll all be on our platform. Now the classes, which I think are really cool, because I remember writing these up and I was like, wow, I'm like, this is how I have, and I truly believe this. And I think it is quantifiable. I have the highest tech adoption rate of any human that's ever worked at Compass. Whenever we did the tech pushes, wherever I worked was always #1 in the country or top 3 at the worst. So it's integrating how you use a tool with your everyday workflow. So an example would be setting your CRM up for success with sellers. It's how do you put in a contact find that's really basic? What are the specific tags? How do you use them? What information do you document? How do you use the task system to keep all your promises? And how do you organize this and listen for certain information so you could go back and keep clients for life and market to them more effectively? Creating collaborative experiences in Business Tracker. How do you use your Business Tracker to share with people that you have a piece of technology that creates a collaborative experience in one place that doesn't exist anywhere in the industry? Writing effective bulk emails and utilizing templates. How do you create engagement and conversations through these things? So all the classes are explained here. And we'll send this all to you guys as well. So all of these things are all included for all of you. So I want you all to lean in. All right, so let me unmute everybody. Who has questions?
Ben has a question. Chirag.
How long are the calls for the end-to-end? I see it's Monday to Thursday at 2:30 Eastern Standard, but is it a half hour, hour?
I believe they're 45 minutes long. Let me just find out.
Okay.
It's training, but it also has a live Q&A component. So Trisha Barlow is a Compass Tools master. She was Sky's partner for the 10 by 10, and she built the whole back end of this program. So she'll be teaching people the functionalities of the tools in context to our system. We'll get you guys a copy of like just a set of materials like the tech video, the one that Ben used, the keys to an effective partnership. We'll give you like a little bundled starter pack. I'll have my team send it out tomorrow morning. So you can start using some of the stuff that's available now. A written communication plan, a written marketing plan. All of these things are quantifiable why people pay you. And one of the things that I want to do is, you see that whole checklist that we showed you that we do with clients? We want to turn that into a client-facing document where all of you can go to your clients and say, hey, have you ever wondered what an agent actually does in exchange for the compensation you pay? And all of these will be turned into client-facing materials. And when you can give your clients something like this, who is ever going to try to discount your commission? And by the way, if you're any agent going after, Evan, someone giving you something like this, you're screwed. How many agents actually have something like this? Broken down to, this is an email we send, this is a call we have, this is the way we use technology to help you in your home sale. It doesn't exist. Lana, you actually might have something like this because you're like anal and OCD in that way. You have something like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's mostly only for listings. And after we do our original pitch and kind of tell them the details, we have a pretty in-depth email that we send with, previous homes we've sold, with previous videos we've done, and like the algorithm content on how we, buy ad space on Facebook and Google and whatever based on their property. And that has not, we have not lost a listing appointment since we created that. And then we always send like flowers or a succulent or donuts or something to the family's house the next day. And since we started doing that, like, we have not lost a listing, like, knock on wood. But
So you're
just hard to beat, Lana.
it's probably Franklin is really nice, and I'm just like very organized. Franklin wants me to tell you that he's the goat.
He's the goat.
Oh, okay. Now we know.
But yeah, and also like our background in construction and architecture and building, people really like that. So if anyone has any of those kind of strengths that your team members can use as far as design, or even like taking staging classes or stuff like that, we've had to, and we probably grew so much because we distinguish ourselves like differently, just not like the typical agent that will put a sign in the front yard. We also have to do a lot more work to show them that, we're worth it.
It's really leveraging strengths. Like, I have no problem talking for hours on end, and I can really connect with people on an emotional level. And then it's really easy for me to hand off the question to Lana, or Lana to hand off a question to the 4 team members that we bring. So we bring a gun to a knife fight every time we go meet somebody, and we connect with them on a very deep relationship level. Nothing we do is surface level. So we connect with people that way. And that's a bigger reason why we win these listings.
We just won a listing from like the owner of Sotheby's in Nashville. Like, she's like the top agent. And that agent actually sold the family the house. And it was a Compass referral from a Dallas agent that I didn't even know, but heard my name from somebody. And
So Lana, I'll tell you this, and I can respectfully say this, and no one please be mad at me. Lana Parr might be the best negotiator in the entire world. I like negotiating, but she's just stone faced, right? I told her she might be the only client that's ever really intimidated me. And like, it's been interesting because look, they've taken all this stuff, and one thing you can learn from reality from what they're doing is when you're able to quantify your services, couple things. You want to be people's partners and ask people, do you want a partner? Do you want an agent? They're going to ask you what the difference is, right? Partners are mutually aligned around getting to the same goal. An agent is someone providing a service. Big difference. Now, the other thing in all of this is, look, you want to talk about what kind of experience do you want? Forget the word sales or anything like that. Great places offer experiences, and that's what you're looking to connect with people on. Experience. So when you have this, it's an experience that you're creating for somebody through a time that sucks. And I don't think enough people like really take the time to tell sellers, like, we understand that selling a home is a completely terrible process. It's terrible. You literally just go into people's houses from day one and tell them that everything they chose that they hold near and dear to their house is wrong. Like, how much fun could that really be? Let's make your house not feel like your home in the matter of 2 weeks, and we're going to get you top dollar. So I want all of you to lean into this. Anyone that wants to be featured in one of these emails that goes out to thousands of agents and regions, just send me a note and let me know. And I'm happy to collaborate with you, and our team can hop on with you of just figuring out how to use some of this stuff to get an easy win. And then we can share it. We'll have spoken to every sales manager in the country over by the end of September, and they all will send these things out. So you guys get first shot at being featured in these emails. Pick your feeder markets, wherever you want to go, no problem. Sound good? Is this going to be helpful for all of you? I hope so. There's something in here for everybody, even you, Lanapar. There's little nuggets of things that you can just shift, right? Because look, in the end, it's even taking one of our concepts and just customizing it to how you do things. And that's how we broke all these sections down like this. I'm not ever going to think that I'm the smartest person in the world or David's the smartest person. Like, we don't think that. We don't have every last single thing figured out. Candidly, a lot of the things you do are probably better, right? But there's something in this for everybody. And we can see that from Gretchen and Ben and everyone else that's using these things. And Kansas and Michelle, it's a simple win for you to have. And look, for all of your team members, this is how you get people aligned around one system that everyone gets the same experience, regardless of who they work with. So this also goes to the objection of, well, I want you, not your agents. Regardless of who you work with, this is the experience you're going to get. It's not held captive to how one person works. It's a collaborative experience that's carried out through multiple parties, and everyone has their role.
Can I say something on that, Chirag?
Yeah.
Just because a lot of the work that we've done together has been creating this system in my business before you were creating this system. And everybody who knows me knows that I am a relationship person. I am a salesperson. I am not a systems person. And so the biggest cracks that we found in our system or in our business when we started to scale was the systems. And we kind of had to take a break when we first started working with Chirag and stop pressing the gas so hard and start really plugging the holes and figuring out how to create something that was duplicatable. My team is super high payroll, and it's important that every single client that comes through us, it has the same experience. And even though we don't have every single piece of end-to-end yet in place, most of what we have built over the last 6 months has been what you're seeing in this program. And it's helping to automate, and like Chirag said, get all of our team on the same page, because we've gone from being about 18 people to just under 30 in a very short period of time.
Jesus.
Well, if you're going from 18 people to 30, you have two challenges. One, it's a huge growth. Secondly, you've got 30 individual people. And even though you're in the same business, we tend to overestimate how differently we think about things. And this is where a system or a framework or something like that can help tie everybody together. Because otherwise you've got different people with different experiences, different things that they value, different practices, and there's no way you can come together. So having some kind of a process or system that everybody can revolve around provides the kind of alignment and unity that you need to function as a team.
Bingo. All right, so here's our last part, and I'm going to open up the dialogue. I want all of you, and most of you already do this, to obsess over what you do with your clients that buy homes after. I call it social capital, right? Gretchen, when she talks about putting her her clients together for dinner, you put a group of people that would like to know each other and you just let them talk. It's social capital, your network for the people, the connections, the access they could have to people that they want to meet, that they can never meet. They'll all come to a dinner that you offer. But if another one of them cold emailed the other person, maybe, maybe not. So when I start thinking about obsessing over this, number one, you want to create the story you want your buyers to refer to. And it should be that after Thomas sold me a home, it's incredible what happens. You want to take all of your client events and things that you guys do throughout a year and start organize them into calendars and talk about the benefits of buying a home with the PAR team, right? The benefits of buying a home with the one and only Butch Hayes, right? So the Hayes Group. So if you start thinking about this, these come into your open house and there's a quantifiable benefit to purchasing a home with you outside of just working with anyone. Because when people start thinking about, okay, I'm going to have to pay the difference. What am I getting? Your relationship continues after the closing table. As Leonard Steinberg says, it's the most incredible business. You offer a lifetime of service and you only get paid once. So start getting into this. We're going to work in creating one of these things for buyers. And let me just give you the skinny on what's going on with MLSs and NAR and everything else. There are 2 pending antitrust lawsuits. The first one is set to go to trial in June of next year. And the appeal by NAR has gotten declined. So the compensatory damage in that suit is $43 billion. The 5 companies, none of whom are Compass, will have to settle because if they go to trial and lose, they'll go bankrupt. Which means it's now going to be considered case law, which means that the other suit will go through. And this will be a whirlwind of like almost like slip and fall lawsuits. It'll change over the country overnight. Bright MLS is the 2nd largest MLS in the country with over 100,000 members. They have already said that you don't have to offer compensation. I believe it's like Coldwell Banker, Keller Williams, you know, those usual suspects. I don't know who the other 3 are. It's insignificant, but they're going to lose a bunch of money and look bad. And they have to pay back sellers their commissions for up to 5 years. All the money they made. Sucks. So any funds they had might severely be depleted. Now, what you want to think about is this. Traditionally speaking, you could have on an MLS, you could offer out $1. No one does it. But the big change is sellers are going to ask you, why should I offer out a compensation? And buyers are going to start asking you, why should I sign a buyer's broker agreement and guarantee your compensation? In I think it was Northwest MLS, they've already made these changes and 98.9% of listings still offer compensation. Arguably, offering out more compensation or good compensation becomes more valuable to a listing because people are going to want to go somewhere to get paid. And who wants to negotiate things on a one-off basis? There's always that small pool of people that want to do that, right? Like those discounters, those commission cutters, the people that are the DIYers, but those aren't your clients. And I hope you say no to these people anyway. But what it's going to force you to do is be able to justify, like what Lana was saying, what we're sharing here to buyers and sellers on why they're paying you this much money. That's the opportunity. We can all get ahead of this. We can all practice this information and we can build armies of people that know how to have effective conversations with people. Because once you accept, it's like, you know, it's like they say in rehabilitation, it's like the first step is accepting you have a problem. Well, in real estate, the first step is accepting that you're a salesperson, which means you have to talk to people. Think about it. If you know what to say, you can go into any market and beat out any agent. I don't care how qualified they are. And I'll tell you why. The only area that you're not going to know is price. And you could simply say, you know, this is your most valuable asset that you're going to base blank and blank off of. They're going to say, yeah. So do you really want to know how to maximize the equity out of your home? And they're going to say, yes, great. So who do you think could price a property precisely better down to the dollar, an appraiser or a realtor? They're going to say an appraiser because that's what banks use. So you're going to say, I'm going to hire out of my own money an appraiser where we can consult with him and understand what's going on in the market, things that we don't have access to. If there are any upgrades that could change the condition of your home, which could improve your value up to 3 to 5% with minimal outlay, because I can cover it for you. And if you're happy with the rest of us, I'd like to do this just so that you can ensure that you get the most money of your home. Done. You have a quantifiable process. They're going to feel good about the marketing. They're going to feel good about the communication. And I don't need to know the market. I need to know how to talk to people and execute a great plan. That's the danger in not knowing what to say. And I call this the Robert Refkin rule. Never get too comfortable because somebody's going to come and knock you on your ass. Think about it. This man is in all of your offices every day. Him and a bunch of people in the leadership team are visiting open houses every weekend. He still has people to his house on dinner on Friday nights for Shabbat dinner. It's crazy. These companies had an 80 to 100-year head start on Compass. Don't get comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of growth. So that's what I have to share with you all today. I want to open it up if anyone has anything to share. Ben is going on our end-to-end call at 12:30 with Trisha, who's on our team. So if anyone wants to join his call to get like a full demo, just email him and he'll add you to the calendar. Butch, what you got?
Oh, sure. What you just said was awesome for big listings. I just thought of this thing too. You could have the appraisal with the price, say, look, I work with this appraiser. He'll put the price that we want. And then what a great thing to put in your disclosure package. Like, hey, we just got an appraisal. We just got an appraisal on the house. Not saying it's always going to work, but in a down market like San Francisco, that's a brilliant idea, right? I love that idea of getting an appraisal for these like super mega listings, and because no one knows what they're priced at. I mean, we all, the top 5 agents here, we all stand around and look at each other and go, I don't know, what do you think? Like, and everyone's so depressed, because the buyer's like, there's literally like, one buyer for all these properties. But that's
Man, we lost.
Franklin, you got a hand up?
Oh, what's up? Here, lower hand. Hey, Chirag, my ears went up when you said 2 things about kind of what we offer, and like the one thing that Leonard Steinberg said about you get paid once for a lifetime of service. I actually disagree with that. You get paid, with money, sure, but like I feel like with what we do, since we are in the service industry, we get paid in more ways than just one. The older we get, the fewer friends that we have, right? But the friends that we do have, the stronger those relationships truly are. The fact that we get to meet like a new person every couple of days and hear their life story, we're so ingrained with those people. If you take those relationships to the level they're supposed to go in this industry, which a lot of people don't do, because most agents are used car salesmen, not even in this group. Because if you're a friend of Chirag, you have a big heart and there's a reason why you are here. You're very successful, right? But what do we offer them besides service? It's our connections. We know the principal and the headmaster of this private school that your kid wants to get in. We know the rabbi at the synagogue. We know the coach at this sports team. We know the assistant coach. Those relationships are so solid and more precious than gold. And what we offer those people that want to work with us, anytime someone says, just want you to know we're interviewing you, whether it's for a listing or working with a buyer, I am very quick and very comically stern to let them know we're interviewing you just as much as you're interviewing us, because we don't want to work with just anybody. So if you are just an agent, that's fine. But like what you offer, everyone in this group is A5 Wagyu level steak. These are the best of the best, Top Gun level agents, right? And not just Top Gun level agents, but Top Gun level agents with big hearts. I know every single one in this group. Actually 2 people I really don't know that well, but I'd like to get to know you. But everyone in this group, if something terrible ever happened, y'all be on a plane to come see me. And I think that that's really special. So what we offer those people, those relationships, it's not just getting the deal done and it's not just sales. It's what happens after that and what we can offer them down the road. So I feel like it's so much deeper than just the deal. And that to me is why everyone in this group does the kind of business that they do.
Yeah.
I'll piggyback off of that too, just on so I said about 20% is Compass referrals, but my business in general is about 90% past client referral or whatever. So like just going off what Franklin said. So a lady that I did a $70,000 renovation for in 2012 has referred me in some way. You can trace it back to her about $70 million over the last decade. So, and it was the smallest renovation I ever did in construction, but she was a raving fan of me. I took care of her. I watched her house for her. So I think it's just on how you play the game on the way out that is the biggest part. So.
Look, in the end of this, what I want you all to think about is how do you create a quantifiable value to what you do after? It's those relationships. It really is. And buyers need to understand that's what they're buying into. Who wants to go on Google and look up random strangers to find things and have people in their home? Not me. I say this all the time. I work with a broker. Her name is Karen Scott in Westport, Connecticut. If I had to write Karen a check for $20,000 to find me a house, I would. For 4 years, I've been calling her. Where do I go for this? What about this? We joke around. It's like, ask Karen. We find something great. So Karen probably told you about this, didn't she? Yeah, she did. But it's so clear the value that she offers. I would pay for it. I would not buy a home in any market without an agent. Never. And I do this, I would say, at one of the highest levels that you humanly can. Agents have tons of value. We just don't know how to communicate it clearly. So as they say in Roger Rabbit, that's all, folks. That's what we have here for you today. So you guys can chat. If you guys have more things that you want to share, feel free to. David, if there's anything you'd like to add in, feel free to, but we'll get you guys the starter pack, but get your team aligned into our platform, into the playbook, into the end-to-end, and really get the most out of what you have here. It works, and we want it to work for you.
Yeah, so much of what we talked about today, folks, from getting your team on the playbook calls with you and then sitting there and talking about it a little bit afterwards as a team, to end, everything. These are force multipliers, and they're just sitting there waiting to be leveraged. And if you haven't had a chance to do it or haven't thought about it yet, you're missing a huge opportunity. Definitely dive in. If you want to grow the business, do something you haven't done yet and see where it takes you.
Anybody else? My parting thoughts is this: everyone in the world, I've never in my life seen more people checked out. More people. Gretchen has like the hunter's eyes. She's like, I'm coming. Don't check out. When you're at work, work. When you're home, and understand the separation of the two. But I'm telling you, there's a world that I believe people to come to. And you know me, Franklin can tell you this. I am not a negative person. I don't talk bad about other people. I'm not negative, but excuse my language when I say this. There are going to be so many people fucked when they come back in September. You're going to see grown adults crying. I'm telling you this. The writing is on the wall every single place you go. If you look at that, they're discounters, commission cutters, high interest rates, low inventory, a quarter of the commission is going to part-time agents, and then you throw in these lawsuits. It's the most challenging market and future that's ever existed in this industry. And anyone that's not thinking about this is being irresponsible to their family. That is my true feelings here. Irresponsible. Because if you were responsible and you realize you're making $5 to $10 million in sales, and Uncle Johnny can't buy a house with you anymore because they feel bad because it's going to be awkward at the Thanksgiving table. When they have to write you a check, it all changes. When you have to pay for something, you have a different value for it than if it's just whatever. So we've seen this all over the place with people. So people that have momentum start getting multipliers, right? I call it M&Ms, momentum and multipliers. Once you have momentums, you got to find the people, places, and things that are multipliers, and that's all of us together. So just lean in. I excuse my profanity today, but it's coming. It is really coming. And like COVID, if you thought you were scared during COVID, forget it. This is going to be 1,000 times worse. The good news is y'all are all prepared, and we will have you prepared. And look, it's a partnership. As long as you guys show up halfway, we're willing to do our work on the other half to make sure that you have everything you need. So as always, the love of my heart, I love you all. Thank you so much for being here. I have a call with our event planner for the retreat, I believe tomorrow. So we're moving fast on putting out dates, but it looks like that last week in January seems overwhelming favorite.
Oh, last week of January.
Is that a holiday week for some of you?
Can we do the middle of January? The last week is not gonna.
End of January is very hard.
Well, we have a poll where we've literally reached out to every single person in both groups. So I have to see what the survey says. So if we can try to do it in the middle, we try to do it in the middle. But the people that are on the fence, like some people that might say the end, we might be able to move them. So that's what we're really looking at, are all the numbers.
Where are we going?
Yeah, that'd be nice to know.
Because that really is what tees it up.
Based on the 3 to 4 hour max flight thing, we'll probably end up somewhere in Mexico. realistically.
Not mad at that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Okay.
So all of these like more tropical locations, like I had no idea that Costa Rica was so far. I thought, very naively that all these islands, like, well, it's like an island, it's a few hours on a plane. And then when I found out that, my assistant, she goes, you know how long these flights are? I'm like 3-4 hours. She's like, yeah, right. I had the same reaction all of you did. So
Close for me.
what's that?
Close for me.
Everywhere is close for you because you're in Florida.
Lana, does JSX fly to Mexico?
No.
It's the semi-private stuff everyone's starting to do now. I don't know if you guys have heard of that or not, but there's semi-private companies that are in hangars, and it's like $250 a seat per trip. It's really interesting concept.
Can you text me that?
Yeah, JSX. I'll send it to you. There's a lot of companies that do it, but the semi-private game is really taking off. So it's like 20 seats, 30 seats on an airplane on jets, and they just take you really nice seats. It's kind of like business class. I don't know how they're making money on this, but they're growing. It's a really interesting concept.
Nice. Well, on that note, it's 11:59 and we'll send you guys all this stuff out tomorrow. And I appreciate all of you and we'll see you guys soon. Bye, everybody.
Guys.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.